This story opens with the everyday life of Takeru, the protagonist, who travels from home to work and back again, just the usual routine. While at home, he switches on the TV and we see a person seated at a table. Takeru tells us that although having a normal life is a relief, deep down he wishes for something different to happen, something out of the ordinary. His glasses shine and he appears before the man on TV, asking his identity. The man says he is the solar system supervisor, something like a god or a mid-level manager of the universe. This sounds more realistic to our protagonist. The manager explains that on planet Mateus, things always go wrong, no matter the effort, and civilizations keep collapsing, necessitating their intervention. Holding a teapot, he demonstrates that even one drop can change everything in that world, and he will be that drop. Takeru is scared by how subtly he's being asked, but the manager tells him he's already dead, and if he doesn't go to Mateus, his soul will disappear. He complains about him being so cold, but the manager says he won't send him empty-handed and will give him any gifts he wants. Takeru asks what he means by gifts. The manager suggests using magic and asks what else he wants. Takeru asks for a cute companion, and is told he'll meet someone along the way. He'll also improve his exploration skills so he can sell materials and will give him a utility pouch to collect them. Plus, he'll master the world language and be resistant to various things. He's resistant, but not to death. His body starts to fade, so the manager realizes it's time. About to give him another gift, he sees he's given too many. He also wishes him good luck with the companion he got, but reassures him that everything will be fine, and so he says goodbye. The scene changes to a forest, where a fellow is sleeping. That hair looks awfully familiar, but as he wakes up, all confused, we see it's our hero. After a bit, he wondered what to do. Standing up, he decided to look for a place where people lived. After much walking, he finally reached the settlement, but he realized that without any money, no one would give him anything to eat. But he remembers that the manager improved his exploration skills so he could sell materials. He comes out of the bush, grabs a branch, shouts, "Exploration magic," but nothing at all happens. Takeru, worried that he might have mispronounced it, begins writing the words on the ground. Upon saying search, various symbols appear, indicating where materials can be found. Realizing the magic activates with the right word, he looks for a way to search with more detail. With find, investigate, and scan, he opens a window displaying the flower's data. Takeru, content with the ability to store the rank flower, decides to take everything the symbols indicate, gathering plants and mushrooms, but they are all low rank. He then spots a strange rock and scans it, shocked to find its high rank droppings. Recalling his lessons, he sets that aside. Clovers show plants, hearts show animal objects, and diamonds signal minerals. Happy with his haul, he wonders how much it'll sell for. With night falling, he decides to head to the village. We see other planets visible in the sky. Arriving, he approaches the entrance guard, who asks if he's a traveler. He introduces himself as Takeru. The guard notices that he's very tall and asks if he's a warrior or a mage. Takeru replies he's just there to sell materials. The guard finds it odd to see a gathering specialist. He introduces himself as Marlowe, from the Torment Guard. He mentions they don't have material shops, but the general store sells everything and invites him in. As Takeru enters, everyone stares at him, so he just says hello. At the store, an old man greets him, noting his unfamiliar face and asking if he's looking for something. Takeru approaches him to see if he can buy something, showing him the strange stone. The old man recognizes the hammer anteater droppings, noting its exceptional shape, hardness, and color, offering 5 silver coins. Takeru admits he doesn't know how much that is and asks what a night at the inn costs. The old man says 500 rabies. 1 silver coin is 1,000. The protagonist does the math, realizing that the droppings are worth 50,000 yen. He accepts the offer and is weirded out as the old man rubs his face with the droppings. He asks if Takeru has anything else to sell and is impressed by the amount of stuff, asking why he'd bring it all to such a remote place. Takeru says he's just traveling and collecting all sorts of materials, so the old man gives him a little job, bring him minerals and mithril from the East Mountain. Takeru accepts, requesting a map. The old man offers him 360,000 yen for his goods, but warns him of monsters where he's headed, scaring our protagonist. At last, at the inn, he rests but longs for a bath. Just then, a worker opens the door to give him some hot water so he can wash his body. He asks if they don't have a bath, but the lady says they don't have anything like that, which gets our protagonist down. The worker tells him that some mages can use wash magic on people, but there aren't any in Torment. Takeru reacts to the word magic, thanks her for the water, and pays extra. Alone, he ponders body washing magic, muttering wash, groom, cleanse, clean. The water swirls around him, cleaning him. He's amazed, but as a bath enthusiast, he's still disappointed. The next day, he continues gathering items and comes across a spade symbol. Since it's the first time he's seen one, he gets excited but ends up finding a skeleton in armor. Scared, he backs away, then returns to scan it. He then notices a family amulet along with an urgent note he cannot ignore. After reading it, he buries the fallen knight with his sword. In the afternoon, he draws a circle around himself. Once finished, he raises a barrier. Feeling completely secure, he begins cooking outdoors. After eating, we find him in the Forest of White Clovers, also known as the Forest of Ancient Dragons, a very dangerous area full of monsters. Takeru, feeling a bit unsafe, decides to use light, creating a sphere of light that illuminates his surroundings. He also uses search, but is disappointed when he finds no materials. He puts that aside and starts gathering various herbs. As he does, he wonders why there are no monsters or living beings around him. All he can think is that he stinks. He disregards it, using his bad smell to his advantage, and presses on. Running through the woods, he finds the exit. Overjoyed, he rushes forward, but in his excitement, he falls into a chasm. As he plummets, desperate, he casts various spells to fly. On one of his attempts, he says fly and is finally able to land gently. Now safe, he sees a huge pile of minerals in front of him. He quickly pulls out his pickaxe and gets to work. After mining a dark ore, he scans it and discovers it's silver. He keeps searching like this, but there's no sign of mithril. He uses search again. When he does, a faint signal appears on a rock, so he figures it must be deeper inside. Just then, he feels a slight tremor. He knows he must leave quickly, but first, he wants to investigate that stone. He casts the Faran spell at the stone. Just before impact, he uses eruption, and the area explodes. Getting closer, he searches the rubble and finds some mithril, albeit tiny. Suddenly he feels another tremor. He finds this strange, but doesn't pay it much mind and heads deeper inside in search of more. Walking through a tunnel, he finds a secret spring. When he scans it, he discovers it's SS rank underground magic water. Takeru starts thinking about how incredibly rare that is. While he considered taking some water, a monster's roar is heard. It then starts talking to him. But Takeru ignores him, still pondering what to do. It'd be a waste not to take some of that rare water. Suddenly a huge wave rises from the spring, drenching the boy. From it, a great beast also emerges, who, furious at being ignored, yells at him to listen. Our protagonist is just confused, and the beast is surprised to see that he resisted its pressure. Takeru simply bows and apologizes for entering its home without permission. Here, Takeru tells us that since he started working, he's bowed to many people, but he never thought he'd bow to a dragon. The imposing dragon laughs and admits he has nerves of steel. Curious, it asks him what he is. Our protagonist introduces himself as Takeru Kamishiro, a human. The dragon doubts that's true, as it senses a surprising magical power in him, which is why it woke from its slumber. Confused, our boy asks what amazing magical power means. The dragon replies that his magic is equal to its own. Our Takeru, not understanding a thing, asks if by any chance it's the ancient dragon. The dragon confirms this and introduces itself as Voldius. Our protagonist, being quite bold, asks for permission to call him Vol. The dragon sees no problem with it, but then tells Takeru he'd like to borrow his strength. He mentions that with his power, he might be able to bring his offspring back to life. Takeru inquires about this, and Voldius clarifies that the stagnant, polluted sea prevents his egg from hatching. He's not asking for help without compensation. With a light tap on the water, he makes many fragments of mithril rise to the surface. Takeru is amazed by the amount, but putting that aside, he asks about the egg that won't hatch. Just then, Voldius pulls a rather large dark egg from the spring and hands it to Takeru. He's astonished by its size, but then he presses his ear to the egg and can hear a heartbeat. Confused, he asks Vol what to do. The dragon tells him to pour his magic into the egg, just like he did with the light. So he uses heat, and a large amount of Takeru's energy is absorbed by the egg. While our protagonist struggles to make it out alive, Voldius laughs his head off. Suddenly, Takeru loses consciousness and wakes up in a parallel world. Here, a voice calls him reckless. Our boy sees a person approaching and wonders if it's God. Then the person starts talking, saying that normally when a dragon appears, people either faint or run away, but not him, our protagonist, who stayed to change the rules. Takeru asks what he means. The person explains that he's been toying with the world for hundreds of thousands of years, and Takeru spread his waves in the blink of an eye, which annoyed him a bit. He asks if he remembers the ridiculous blessing he granted him. This confuses Takeru, but then the man asks him if he hadn't wished for someone adorable to accompany him. As Takeru's eyes close, that person tells him that a little suffering will do him good. And just like that, our protagonist wakes up to a strange noise. Startled, he gets up, but everything is dark. He also hears Voldius' voice asking if he's alright, despite a strange sound. Takeru stands, using light to illuminate the area. Then he spots a winged creature. He quickly deduces it's Vol's offspring. The small dragon rushes to hug and lick Takeru, but our protagonist, unable to bear the odor, pushes it away. Unexpectedly, Voldius requests he name it. Takeru hesitates, asking if he, as its father, shouldn't do so. Vol says it has a name, but wants Takeru to give it a nickname, so Takeru thinks of a name. However, he can't come up with anything, until finally an idea strikes him, and he decides to name it B, like the initial B in black. This makes the little dragon happy, and it jumps to hug him again. Vol, for his part, thinks it's a good name, so calling the little one by name, he commands it to roam this vast world at will. Thus, BT Black, the dragon's offspring, officially joins the group. Takeru refuses, emphasizing it's his child. Why entrust it to a nobody like him? Vol says Takeru has more power, so he knows B will be fine. With that, he casts a spell on his bag, dives into the lake, and wishes him good luck. Takeru, however, can't believe it's true. But anyway, now talking to B, he asks if it wants to join him to gather materials. The little dragon gets excited, confirming it's a yes. Our protagonist then prepares to leave, first using clean to remove B's foul odor. On screen, I'll recommend a video. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. That's all from me. Take care, stay hydrated, shower, and I'll see you in the next video.